Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. I am Valgant. I do VRChat World Dev and Unity editor tooling and other stuff. And today we will be picking right back up with the VRC Armory stuff that I was working on. Basically our generic combat system that you can build the games out of. Let's see, what has changed since the last stream? So last week we did more NPCs, but the week prior to that is when we released the first testing version of VRC Armory. And if you checked that out, you may have noticed that we actually have a demo environment now. This wasn't in any of the streams. I just did this pretty quickly after the streams had finished up. And honestly, it's just like one model placed twice, just one in each color. With some customization to it. A bunch of the guns placed here and here. And similarly, got them over here and here. There's a bunch of NPCs that can be enabled for the demo as well. They're all just hidden right here by default. But here's the little button for starting up. Now there's one other thing that I went and added, just because it was getting really annoying. Let's go ahead and start this up. May have to adjust some volume things. Let me know if the music's too loud. I had to swap applications that I was playing music from, so now my volume settings aren't the same. But if we head over into the game, I can grab one of these. You see I actually have a little laser pointer for now. Where is this? Here we go. Little beam here. You see it flickers and stuff. This was actually a result of me over-engineering this a bit. With it flickering like that, that's actually some shader stuff that I put together. So essentially what it does is it has two different versions of 3D noise that it applies against each other. Honestly, I don't know why this is completely black. Maybe it's because we're in play mode. And then it just applies that into the UVs and uses the vertex color, because vertex color, fun fact, oops, vertex color is how Unity handles applying the tint, the color here. So this color here is entirely done in the vertex colors and just applies it into it. And then that goes over the color or tint or anything that's already in here. Now, this doesn't like do anything too fancy. As you can see, it just kind of sits there and points forward. I'll actually swap this. Right now it's only going 5 meters forward. I'll swap that to 50 and just apply that. So right now it'll clip through walls. I have it set up here, so if you want, it can run a loop to clamp itself. So it doesn't go through walls, but it's one of those things that for right now doesn't feel like something that I need an extra update loop for. So yeah, it's probably fine. Let's see here. So yeah, today we'll be working on the teams and roles. So we already kind of have teams. Like this one spawns red players here and blue players there. But that's kind of just roles more than anything. And you probably want to have more than one role per team. Like say, there's like the innocents versus the traitors. Then you want the detective to be on the innocents team, not have the innocents be completely separate and win by killing the detective and the traitors. That's not how that kind of game flow works. So we need to come up with how these kind of roles are going to handle. So we have roles and we have a role manager, but we need teams that can have those roles. So let's go ahead and work on that. Do we have our roles? Let's have folder teams. Do new armory team. And let's crack that open. Excuse me. All right, so let's see here. This is going to be using roles, so let's just get the roles open on the other side. Entities, teams. I need roles. There we are. Base entity role. There we go. Just put that over there. And role manager. So my guess is this role manager is going to be pretty heavily modified here. Largely due to the fact that the way we're handling roles is now going to be siphoned through our team system. So let's go ahead and have a serialized field protected string team name. Let's call it red team by default. How do we want to go from here? So this one wants to have a bunch of roles on it, but do we want to handle role possibilities? I don't think so. I think, maybe teams won't have roles associated here at all. Maybe we'll just have that separate. Yeah, then we can just have the players applied into here and have the teams run by... yeah, we'll have the game manager do the assigning of roles and assigning of teams. Though I think it should... should our roles know what team they can go on, or should our teams know what roles they can have? Because I don't think we want a detective on the traitor team, for example. What would be a good solution for that? Yeah, because I think we're going to be siphoning a lot of our features of some of our roles over. Because, like, I don't, covering all of the ground possible is not the easiest task for this, but it's certainly doable. I think we'll just start by having roles assigned on teams, and then we can work from there. So we'll do CLS field protected base entity role array of available roles. Hello, Pt5. How are you doing? Pop back in here. Today we are doing the combat system again, so we're jumping back into that. We are working on building out the actual team handling, because right now our roles are just very individual and distinct. Where's our team? Role manager. There we go. So right now we just have a bunch of spawn points child into this. I think we'll do roles, and then below that, combat system time. Yes, yes, welcome. We're doing teams and roles. So those are basically going to be two different things. I'm debating. Yeah, I think the teams are just going to be very basic wrappers. With not a whole lot going on for it, and almost everything being handled in the role itself. But, yeah, it could be interesting. Alright, let's do, blue theater. Okay, so okay, so this is a role. That's okay. No, we need teams up here. That's it. Blue team. That needs to be plural. Whoops, that is a 2, not S. There we go. Blue team. All right, those will be blue team. Just generic role name of fighter. All right, available roles. Fighter role. Alright. I've already gotten tired of standing. Alright. We're going into seated mode today. Alright, so we're gonna handle... yeah, okay. What is the easiest way to do this? What are common mistakes that new programmers make that cause huge problems very late in development, especially if it's a crucial step overlooked at the beginning of a project? Honestly, I think the biggest one is just organization. Very often, the biggest problem that I run into is very much the, oh, I'll just do this for now, and then I come back 2 weeks later and I have no idea what's going on. And that can be anything from like code in your project that isn't properly commented, or it could be like all of your assets are just in the root of your Unity project, with no proper organization. And that's one of those things that is pretty easy to do in the moment and can be very annoying to do retroactively. There's definitely a lot of like gotchas for that kind of stuff, but yeah, the biggest one that I've noticed has definitely been the just letting things get disorganized and suffering for that in the future. We'll call this blue fighter. Call this blue leader. Just put that at the top. I want to change these spawns, so I want the teams first and foremost to have yeah, I want the teams first and foremost to have the handling for where things should spawn, and then roles should have spawn overrides. So your team itself is what dictates the actual spawn by default. Hey, hello, welcome, Lemmy. We're doing lobbies, teams, and roles today. It's probably something I should have thought out a little bit more at the beginning, but oh well. Should be fine enough. One of the annoying things is that the way I'm probably going to handle this is the roles will need to have a reference for the team, and the teams will have to know have references for the roles. Because the main purpose of the team here is to mid-game, I want the system to check, hey, is everyone on X team dead? And if so, end the game. And right now we're doing that with roles. So I could do that with just arrays of roles for like which team is which. That might be better. No, but I want most of the roles to be identical outside of like some behavioral stuff. Like I want roles to dictate special spawns or things that get enabled or disabled or a nameplate. So those things will be important. But the actual gameplay part is gonna, like the actual game loop is gonna care more about teams than water. It's hot out there. Keep yourself hydrated. Alright, so teams need a array for their spawns. True. Transform spawns. Yes, if your water is out, then you should absolutely refill. Let's see here. Global roles, spawns. Okay, so let's go ahead. Spawns. Try all these in. You don't need these. All of you can negate your spawns. How about having the game end kill count? How about having the game end kill count to set a number variable that toggle between total players and user defined value? My plan is to have a lot of different systems for that. What kind of game mode do you think that would be for? Like first person to get to 5 kills? Is that what you're proposing? I really should be taking notes of a lot of this stuff. We've had a lot of really good requests that I need to be taking more notes of. Let's see. See armory requests. First to X kill count. We had a request in Discord earlier today for this. Actually, that was oh well. How was it described? It was combat region versus hangout region. So instead of the game being distinctly on or off, there's just the area you can go to where it's happening and the area you go to where it doesn't. Well, said before you were thinking of are all players dead check when the game ends, but it would be easier to just have that be a number. Yeah, that was, oh, that was you. Okay, okay. Yeah, well, it's going to change a lot because that number immediately becomes invalid if someone leaves the instance. So if the number of people on a team changes because someone hopped and left, then we just want to examine the current roster of people that are playing and go from there. That's one of the big issues with having any of our numbers declared at the start. Like, oh, if 5 people on this team die, then oh, we know that happened. We would need to update that number whenever someone leaves or joins, and that's just a thing that like is a little bit easier to handle if you're just doing it at time. So yeah. Okay. Death spawn. What is this going to? This should just go to VRC world. Okay. We need to put all these spawns in here. Alright, so fighter will be normal blue. Leader will be cyan. We'll use that for our distinguishing. Yeah, and a lot of these kind of things can be built into the actual game mode system itself. So one of the things that I want this pack to include is a lot of different games. So you can just kind of put down murder. You can just put Among Us into your world, or Team Deathmatch, or something like that, where it's very much just you place down a couple items and you have the game working in your world. That's the pie in the sky for this project. So many VR chat worlds are just dead malls. Just let us do something. All right. Let's see. So a flat kill counter rather than player-based value. Is this separate from the... You mean like how many kills a team has gotten? Is that what you're saying? Because that would be another game mode altogether. Alright, I need to adjust my fan. It is too hot. 1 second. There we go. Alright, so available rules on here is going to be those. Yeah, I think it's going to be better to have this inverse, where the roles know what team. You can set the kill count point to the side. And then player account. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, what you're describing is a different game. Okay, so. Yeah. First team to X kill count. Sucker. Game modes. There we go. Okay, yeah. Let's go to our team. We'll drop the role array. And our role needs to know what team it's assigned to. Sterilized field protected. Team. Getter. Okay, so let's go to our on-spawn handling, just so I can make sure that we can grab these spawns instead. On-spawn as used in... Yeah. If spawns equals null, or spawns not length equals 0. Assign that there. No, we'll do a pool equals team. Oh, I need a getter for this. Okay. Public transform array spawns. Else pool equals spawns. Okay, so that should handle the spawning there. Alright, so these roles both need to be assigned to their team. Hello, Black Lilith. Mr. Rogan. Yes, that is I. Me. Alright, so these are both assigned to this team. So let's change our... I guess we should double this up for the orange team now. So duplicate this, we'll have orange team. Orange team, set this to be orange leader, an orange fighter. This to be a very deep orange, or I guess a light orange. And leader can be a deeper one. Or, no, yeah, we'll do that. That should... Yeah, and then this pings these spawns, okay. Turn these up here. 180. And I want these leaders to both have a custom spawn. So I guess it makes sense you cannot multi-select rename. So these, we can get rid of that. Toss this into spawn for leader. Toss it for spawn for leader. And then this one will go up here and 180. So now that we have multiple roles, we need our generic game mode to take these roles and assign them out. But if we're going to be assigning anything, we should probably actually build our lobby first. Because right now we've just been applying it to everyone in the scene. And, well, we don't really want to do that. Role manager. Or the role manager will probably swap to be a team manager. No, role manager will still be roles. Okay. Alright, so our armory player needs a kind of game manager's thing that it can assign to, so we can determine whether or not they are in a game. But this is also a very yeah, this is a very temporarily built game system. This isn't a very modular or modifiable one. Well, we'll get this one reworking again. Not with our custom roles, but then we'll go in and we'll build out our we'll build out our lobby system. Alright. Let's just double check. Go back into play mode. We can start up the game. Alright. In and go. Yep. Let me know if any volume setting is weird. I had to change a bunch of stuff from some application adjustments. 4 of them in that one spot. Alright, so if I get rid of these two here, then the game should end. Or 3, I guess. There we go. Okay. Game system still works. And now we can go in and actually set up our lobby. So let's have a sharp behavior of game lobby. Actually, what is a lobby? Because what I think this is going to end up being is the game owner starts the game, they look at all the players, they determine whether or not that player is going to be part of the game, and they assign a role to that player. So, alright, let's look at our entity here. So we have a role ID, and how do we? Yeah, okay. ID equals 1, return null. Then they don't have a role. Alright, so we need a way for yeah, okay. So we are going to have our lobby be a networked armory behavior, and we're going to have some functions on it. So public void add player to and public void remove player from lobby. Okay, what's the best way to handle this? We're going to have a private data list. Data list players. Let's see. Lobby. So what we're going to do is these are going to be network callable. So we'll just give this the network callable attribute. Now, we don't even need to pass what player we want to be adding in, because what we can do is we can do network calling player. And this returns a VRC player API that tells us what player is calling this event. So we'll do player API, player. So this is going to be basically told to everyone, hey, start add this person to the lobby, remove this person from the lobby. And then actually, no, that won't work, because if the person who starts the game came in after this event is fired, there's no remaining values for that. Let's see here. We could have a synced int array for player IDs. That might be our best bet. CLS field udon synced protected int array player IDs. And we'll just initialize this to a length of 100. So let's have a private const int max players equals 100. That way this value actually means something somewhere. In that case, we only want this function to be called by the owner, to be received by the owner. So if owner is local turn, and then we flip that, so it's false. All right. Int empty index will be array dot index of will be player IDs. We are looking for 0. If empty index equals -1, we'll debug log warning. Player count has, I'll swap that to be max player count has been reached. And return. So I guess we should probably look first to see if the calling player is already in, because we don't want to add one player a dozen times. So int existing index equals array dot index of player IDs player ID. If existing index is not equal -1, okay. Debug log for now. We'll remove this in a final version, since you don't need this, but I want it for testing. Player is already in the lobby. Return. Now, if they're not already in the lobby and there's an open spot, we shall assign it. So that will be player IDs empty index equals player.player. Probably best to cache that up here, actually. Int player ID equals player.player. Fewer externs, the better. Alright, how am I handling the serialization stuff? Okay, well, the network events are going to have to take some work because some recent testing has shown that it's not exactly how I want it to behave. But we'll see. So this is just a wrapper for our own serialization. So yeah, it should be fine to just, for now, call request serialization. And manually call on deserialization. Oops. No. Underscore on deserialization. Alright, now we're going to do the opposite of this. Alright, we still want only the owner to run it. Still want to cache the player ID. So existing index, if that index is already -1, player is already not in the lobby. There we go. So at that point, we can just skip this. So swap this to existing index equals 0. We just do that. Okay, so now we're going to have to make two things. buttons for adding and removing the local player, and a display for showing what players are. Well, I guess I can just inspect this in the inspector for now. But we'll probably want a screen that shows all the players that are in the lobby. Demo, add to lobby. Just have a well, Ryder does not appear to be giving me audit vote. Unity, what gives? There we go. Now it's figured itself out. We use the interact function. Just have a serialized field of a private game system based. Wait, no, we want a game lobby. And anything that's named demo underscore is definitely for testing. So we'll be expanding this out a lot later on, but once we have a working base that we can go off of, I can break out the game system basic into a much more modular system. Lobby.send custom network event. Send that to the owner. Now the name of lobby dot game lobby dot add player to lobby. Make a second one here for removing, and then we'll make a lobby display board that just displays the name of everyone that's in. Demo, remove from game. Oops, this needs to be lobby. Move player from lobby. Okay, so let's make some buttons for that. This one will be add, this one will be move. Let's give this a red material. Sure, this one somewhere. Give that a little. Okay. Now we need our. Oh, let's actually put our lobby here in the scene. Lobby. Lobby. And this is gonna be child 2. Where is basic game system? Basic game system. There we go. Basic game system is going to need a reference to its lobby. Game lobby. Okay. Assign that. Let's go to our buttons here. Now, if we look at our game lobby while we're in play mode, and I come up and press this, the first index should swap from 0 to 1. Yay, it worked. And then I can mash these and I'll just log, hey, you can't do that. Alright, and similarly, we should have a demo version of a region for this. So if someone just walks into a room, they'll get put into the game. Yeah, okay. Demo game region. We don't need a demo version of that. We can just make that. Game lobby. Game lobby region. Let the compiler figure itself out so I can get my sweet autofill. Come on, there we go. This is on player trigger enter if utilities dot is valid. Player false return. If player dot is local is false, return, because we only care about the local. And from here we basically do the same thing as our demo add and remove. We should really check locally before doing this call, whether or not we're actually in already. So we'll have a public bool is player in lobby, int player ID, return array dot index of player IDs, player ID not equal -1. So if lobby dot is player in lobby, player not player ID, return. Then and only then we will call this function. Now we do exactly the opposite of this on player trigger exit. We check to see if they're real, we check to see if they're local. If they're not in the lobby, we don't want to remove them. Remove player from lobby. Alright, let's go ahead, just make a fat cube. We'll give it a yield trigger area slider. Then game lobby region, put that here. Attach this to the game lobby. Alright, so now the first index should kick on when I'm in. Okay, yep. It's off when I'm out. Perfect. If I can remove myself while I'm in there, then I can leave. And that's all working fine. Nice. Alright, let's get a display set up for this. So, game lobby. We will use a base arming behavior. Man, I don't know why Rider's taking so long to figure itself out today. I've actually had a bit of weird performance stuff with my computer as of late. I'm not entirely sure what it is. But I've noticed that if I'm like full screened in play mode in Unity, then Discord screen shares just won't work anymore. They'll just be frozen. I'll have to click back over to it. And sometimes if it goes for long enough, Discord just goes black until I click on it. And there's just like weird delays on things that didn't used to be there. I'm just not quite sure what's up. Alright, we'll have a serialized field, private text mesh pro UGY, label, serialized field, private bool, use new line. Oh, and we're gonna want to have our lobby. Driving compatibility issue, maybe? Possibly. I've heard some people talk about there's being some issues with the newer graphics drivers for NVIDIA, especially in relation to VR, so could be relevant. I don't actually know. So, if we want the lobby list to update when the lobby gets players updated in it, I guess for now we can directly reference it. Otherwise I'd have to build a listener system, and I think we'd only have this. Like, there isn't really much else that changes for this. So, the serialized field, protected game lobby display list, then during on deserialization, if display list dot new public void update list. And we'll call that from here. If we want to get the list of the name of every player that's in the lobby, we're gonna have to have a few more tools here. So we'll have a public int get player count, turn array Is there a quick way to check whether or not how many of a single index how many of a single value is in an array? If not, I'll just do a loop for it. Int player count. Or max players. If player IDs I is not equal 0, player count plus. And we'll just return player count. I think the count extension method allows you to supply a condition to check for on each element. I would not be surprised if that is very outside of the support of Udon. Oh, if it's through Link, then yeah, we wouldn't have that in Udon, unfortunately. Darn. Oh well, I guess we'll just do this loop then. So we'll do public string array. Actually, this can be a data list. Get player names. Data list names equals new. Return names. We'll basically do the same loop here. Then instead of doing player count plus, we're gonna do names dot add. Actually, we'll invert this. It equals 0. Continue. Then we want to use player API, player, get player by ID, pass in player IDs I, if utilities is valid player, not, just toss it into a continue. And then we'll add in player.displayName. So we'll grab that over here. So data list player names equals lobby dot get player names string texts. So we want to player names dot count I text will plus you. We can initialize that. Text will plus equal player names I dot string. Then if use new line. This one needs to be else. Just put it to be a space. I should probably swap this out for a string builder. So string builder text. So I'll do text.append. Okay, yeah, that works. So we append in the name of the string. Then, if we are on the last name, don't add anything else. But if we're not on the last name, we'll add either a new line or a space, depending on whether or not we have clicked Use New Line. So after that, we can go to our label.text equals text dot, I guess toString is the output. Does that make sense? Alright, let's make a, I guess I have a canvas here. No, I do not have a canvas. I have a different thing. We will make a canvas. UI canvas, there we go. World space. (900 by 500) scale 0 to 5. And in here we will put a text middle display list, assign it to itself, lobby donk. All right. Let's see what happens when this is 0. Okay, we need to actually assign this. Alright, go to our lobby, hide player IDs, set our display list here. Okay, that works. Yeah, so I guess being able to test this beyond that would just be having what would be that? I guess testing beyond that, we'd just have to boot into game, so I won't worry about that right now. I will, however, use our init function to just call update list, so that we can get rid of the new text with the correct stuff at the start. Alright, so if we have our lobby, we need our, let's see, basic game system, there. I keep having to adjust my headphones because I got a haircut today, and I just have that little bit of itchy, loose hair feeling on me ever since. Primarily because it's really hot out, and I have the AC and fans on me, so I'm just having a little bit of surface tactile sensory stuff right now. So just having to like reach behind me, just start itching slightly now and then. Alright, so now that we have a lobby, we need our game system to actually assign roles. So right now, it just has 2 roles that it's assigning. It's assigning very raw role 1 and role 2. What we need it to do is have some limits on how many of which can get assigned. Because, for example, we want to assign one team leader for each side, and then infinite of the rest. That is going to be a whole system on its own. But for now, we're going to swap this out so that we have required roles and then fill roles. So we'll do serialized field, private base entity role, required roles, and then fill roles. So we can go from there, go into here. Start game. This really is just grabbing role IDs there. Shuffle player. I like how at the start of the stream, Pt5 asked what like some huge early problems can cause late game stuff, and the first thing I said was just making things work for now and then forgetting how it works, and that's entirely how Game System Basic is doing. Game System Basic.cs as a thing was made entirely just so I could get something out 2 weeks ago for Patreon. So people can play around with it and it works. But it's not great to build off of at the moment. It's very hard-coded and just getting its rules working. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and swap how this is working. So data list, roles to assign equals new data list. Int player count lobby dot get player count. Now for this, we'll do roles to assign dot add range. We can do that? Okay. Oh, but it has to be a data list. It's not a array. Yeah, we can't do array dot to data list. That's not a thing. Or can we do new data list and then pass in roles to us? Well, we can sure pass in something. Required roles. What is this constructor? Data token array. Okay. I guess it just treats it as a data token array? Alright. Well, that should work. Then we'll do while roles to assign dot count is less than player count. Roles to assign dot add range fill roles. New data list fill roles. So this just repeatedly adds the rest of them until all of them are assigned. handle this part. Yeah, I'll just do it manually here. Okay. Shuffled players. Are these shuffled, or is this how we're shuffling it? Okay, these are actually shuffled. Good. In that case, we'll go from player account here. What is? Oh, all entities get values. Okay, I don't actually want that. I want. What is this? Okay. I see now. All entities was just how I was running it earlier, and we no longer want to do that. In that case, we can actually just comment this out right now, since we're running everything through the lobby. Comment this out. Players equals lobby dot get. Okay, so our game lobby is going to have a way of grabbing the armory entities from this. So public data list get armory entity. No, get player entities. Alright, so we'll return players there. Now we need to go ahead and get the thing for each one. How's this system doing that? We can for loop. We'll for each this. Not. We'll just do that. So we'll go ahead. That equals 0. Continue. Then we'll do players dot add. Player entity. Oh, what was the name of this? Because there's armory entities and there's rules. Armory player, that's what's called. Armory player dot get player, and we pass in player IDs. It's not the fastest. To improve this with proper caching. This is basically a find and get for every player, which is not great. So that's going to have to be improved. It works for now, but this is probably one of those things that I'll kind of fix off screen. Off stream, sorry. Alright, so swap this to lobby dot Get player entities. Yeah, one of the reasons I commented this stuff out instead of deleting it is because I'm likely going to move all of it over into our lobby system. Okay, so owner, name of net spawn entity, and the third value here is the role ID. There we go. So we need to get the ID for each one that we're assigning. This is also something that I'll improve with the dictionary in the future, but for now we're just going to grab them. I just want to be able to have something that kind of works here towards the end. Even if it's going to look identical to how it worked at the end of last time. So, int role ID. Role manager dot role ID. What do I have here actually? Also assign, so we'll do base entity role roles to assign I dot reference. Yeah, it may just be better building one of these from scratch, given how adapting this over is going to cause a lot of things that we need to improve anyways. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually scratch that. Yeah, I think building a new one here is going to be our big thing that we're gonna have to aim for. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and comment out the things that are giving errors and just make a new script. Alright, that does mean we won't have a working thing by the end of the stream today, but we'll have a much clearer idea of what we're going to be working on next time. So essentially, on Thursday, we're going to be focusing more on the actual modular systems of building a game system. Something that can have different rules for when it starts, when it ends, what people, what NPCs are being added into it and stuff like that. One of the things that I kind of find funny with my setup is I want to have there being a like a target practice mode, and essentially it's going to be two teams. It's going to be players and targets. So the actual boxes that you're hitting with like the crosses and stuff are entities that are in the game that just flip over. Um, which is kind of gonna be fun. But it's one of the things that we're gonna get to. So, alright, let's go to our game system. Oh, actually rename this game system basic old in full caps. Excuse me. That way I know not to use it. That's one of the weird things about these streams. 2 hours is a lot of time for some of the tasks that I come in here to do, and not that much for others. So I'm not sure if I should be going, if I should be scheduling this longer, like starting at 2 and then going to 6 for like a 4-hour dev stream. Alright, let's get this started. Game system. Okay, let's just call this a base game system. Yeah, it's hard to judge, especially because some things get finished up really quickly while others can take them. Yeah, that's definitely what I've been noticing myself with this. Alright, so I'm actually going to start by making 2 scripts here. We're going to have our abstract class for base game system, which is going to have a lot of wrappers things for it, and we're going to have a implementation, which is team deathmatch. So TDM game system. Compile. This project is in fact getting slower and slower to compile with every additional script. TDM game system. Base game system old, put over there. And there we go. Last thing we need to start. Now that we have this, we don't need a. We in fact need to get rid of the Udon Sharp program asset for our abstract class. Just let that compile. Alright, so TDM game system. This is going to have 2 teams. So let's see here. As field protected. Team 1. Should we have a set number of teams for team deathmatch? I think just for now that would be. I think for this implementation, I think it'd be fine. Yeah, we'll do team A and team B. Let's see. Anything fancy that we learned from our previous thing? Yeah, so we'll need a state for what state the game is in. And that will be loaded through undeserialization, and people locally will do stuff in accordance with that. So we'll have a public virtual void start game. Public virtual void end game. Oops. If owner dot is local is false, return. Water. Alright, Team A and Team B are going to be handling this stuff. So we're going to need to be accessing a lobby, so we'll have a field protected game lobby. So one of the things that I'm not sure I want to do, because it's going to put a lot more work into this, is the idea of having multiple game systems in the same world. If I don't do that, I can fake singletons and have like one game lobby and stuff like that, and it makes things a lot easier. But would it make sense to have like over here people are playing Murder and over there people are playing Among Us or something else? It probably doesn't make sense for that. It probably would make sense to allow for them to swap what game they're playing between games, but I don't think it really makes sense to yeah, I don't think it makes sense to go ahead and force to go ahead and force everything to be fully modular, fully, absolutely, completely drag and drop like that. It would be nice, but there's a lot of references that are going to have to be made manually. It's not something I need to worry about right now, obviously, but just a thought for how to architect this in the future. Okay, we'll have our lobby, we'll start game, end game. Public game state. Unset. It's always a good start one, so we can load things properly. Lobby. Initialization. Pre-round. Mid-round. Post-round. I think this is going to handle pretty much all of my use cases at the moment. If I end up finding more, I mean, I can just add more. But serialized field, protected game state, game state, state. What's this gonna look like? Alright, so if we go to our lobby, I think we can move a lot of the features from our entity checking here into our lobby. Realistically, a lot of this can in fact just be drag and dropped. Well, we can stick a net up here. All entities will here. All entities is a data dictionary with... Ah, okay. That's how it's handled. I gotta fix this because now everything is in the runtime namespace. Okay, so our lobby has is player and lobby, get player account, get player entities. So yeah, this is the big part that we're going to be improving from this. Get player names. That we'll have our init. We'll have on deserialization, on player join, on player left. Player lobby. Remove player from lobby. Yeah, so that looks about right. In that case, we can go ahead and change this. So instead of get player by ID there, we'll players dot add all entities player IDs. I guess I can just do that because we're this should probably be it. Player IDs? What are you? Yeah, okay. Oh, this is casting into a data. Yeah, okay, that's fine. This is returning a data token anyway, which just stores the thing. Then we can drop this part. That gets rid of our unnecessary caching. We have... Yeah, okay, so these entities are being assigned in from a negative I value here. Alright. Game lobby. Entities. But we don't want to be ignoring the like AI entity, like the bot ones that we're doing. Alright. I'm gonna take a quick break here, just to use the bathroom. And we will continue with this shortly. 1 second. Oh, I am back. Alright. Piss complete. Alright, let's figure out what's going on here. All entities is a dictionary. We should probably welcome back. Yeah, thanks. Let's have this be this entities array here. We can pretty much ignore player entities. So let's go ahead and just have this be a armory NPC. NPC entities. All entities will be a dictionary, but we'll have a paired data list going with it. So data list. All entities list. All entities fixed as well. So we can split those up. So NPC entities are just ones that we find during the build process, and then they get applied in so that we oh, excuse me. So we don't have to do the like find objects and stuff. We'll just do a region here for getters. Move this down here so we can hide this. It's too big. All right. All right. So here, NPC entities on a stick. Okay. Then we can go ahead and do all entities list dot add. Actually, we can just do an add range on that. I only recently realized that you can pass a normal array into a data list constructor and convert that to a data list, which I like. I like this. I wish you could have similarly an output, and I mean, you can. You just have to make your own static methods for it, but oh well. So this is all entities list dot add range, new data list of entities. Does that not work? Armory NPC is not assignable to the parameter type data token. Is that not what we did elsewhere? That is exactly the thing that I was saying I'm happy we have now. Or did I literally just use that? Yeah, here. Acquired roles is... Oh, I see. These weren't arrays. You can't do that. Ah, my life is ruined. Ugh, okay. Whatever. I'll just manually do it. All entities list dot add entity. I was so happy about coming across a new feature, and it was just me misunderstanding something, and that I had typed wrong. Dang. All right. Let's see. All entities list and dip. We get the local one there. We really don't want to be doing armory player get player very often. In fact, I want to do that as little as possible. If it's a programmer, it could be full. It's so full of disappointments. Yeah. Alright, so we're doing that for init. We're doing this for on player joined, and we're removing them and on player left. Let's see. I need to grab it here, so I'm player. All entities dict, where we pass in player. Nope. Player dot player ID. Oh, entity. And this is going to return a reference, to which we have to cast it. We can then take this. Ooh, actually, wait, no. And we can do all players list dot remove entity. Then we remove it from the dictionary. So inversely, we want to store this up here. Close entity, and then all players list dot add entity. It may end up that we don't need the dictionary eventually, but it's quite useful right now, so I think I'll stick to it. Alright, so if our game lobby's handling all of that, we need everything here, add them, remove them, remove them. So on desynchronization, I really wish we had I could set up a better listener thing for this. I can, but that's the kind of thing that I would love like interfaces for the likes. But instead, I'd essentially have to set up a data list of data lists. Yeah, it's a little annoying. Okay, well, we know when players are in, we know when players are out. I want to handle this better later, but for now, I think that's fine. So, with our lobby working, we can go back to our game systems, and we can look at how everything's done here. So, base game system, we now have a start game, we have an end game. We'll need a public virtual void set game state. Let's do assign game state. Game state, state. First of all, we don't want to do anything if it's the same, so if state equals state, return. State equals state, switch state. Alright, so this lets us assign specific stuff on these game states. But... I'm not sure how much of this we actually want to be doing here. Yeah, okay. So we'll just manage the serialization here. So Serialization on the serialization. Then we want to only do this if you're the owner. I should really have a wrapper for that as well. I do that check all the time. Check the rule is owner. Does net behavior handle that properly? Yeah, okay. On ownership. Transferred. Owner equals player. That is owner. Do that there. Okay. Actually, I probably don't even need to make that a wrapper. I can just do that here during the time owner is assigned. So now we can go back to here, pop that. Alright, now it's not even next turn, it's just stored locally. Alright. Well, we're hitting the top of the hour here. There is certainly a lot of work to be done on this. And I think I'm going to draw out some of the proper planning for this. Because right now, my idea is I want to have a few game modes that inherit from the base game system. And I can build off of that. But as far as the specifics, it might be a little bit on the wonky side. That's Nelson. Yeah, thanks. Honestly, it felt pretty productive. Got a lot figured out. It just unfortunately is a lot of text on the screen today. There wasn't a whole lot of running around and firing guns at NPCs or stuff like that. But oh well. Soon enough, we will have this kind of stuff figured out. Alright, well, let's see. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for coming by. It was really good seeing you. And honestly, we did get a lot done today. Looking forward to progressing on this on Thursday. And yeah, good seeing you. We'll see you again on Thursday.